Hello, everybody. I'm here, and we're headed into the home stretch of Princess Crown, folks. There's really not a whole lot of game left at this point, but we've got to get to the Kingdom of Volga in order to protect its crown from Leon, and so we're going to hit up our old friends at the Free Dolphin. However, the sailor here is a little discombobulated at our request, because the seaway to Volga is beset by rough oceans and monsters and all kind of crap like that. But they do owe us one, so he says, get yourself ready and we'll give it our best shot. Well, we are ready, so let's set sail. We are now on our way to Volga, and things aren't too bad so far. Except, oh shit, the ship is under attack by Sirens. I guess they can't all be as friendly as Undine. Well, Gradriel gets ready to fight, but the sailors think that's a real bad idea because the ship is damaged, and there's no chance it'll hold up to a fight right here on deck. So, tragic as it may be, it's time to turn back. Well, the Free Dolphin is now pretty beat up and won't be going anywhere anytime soon, so we're kind of screwed. We really need to get to Volga so Leon can't use the crown to bring larvae into the world. And hey, it's Portkus. Gradriel tells him that she has to get to Volga, but, you know, if the finest ship in all the land can't get her across the sea, then what hope does she have? Portkus thinks that's crazy talk. The Free Dolphin isn't the finest ship in all the land, his ship is. And Gradriel's more than welcome to set sail with him. Nice fellow, that Portkus. So we get kicked out into town in order to make our preparations, but we're really about as prepared as we're gonna get. So we'll head on back, tell Portkus it's time to go, and so we'll go. Well, while we're sailing, Gradriel tells the good captain that she has a confession to make. But Portkus admits that he's already got her completely figured out. He knows who she is. Gradriel feels bad about deceiving everyone in her travels, but Portkus tells her, you know, chin up. It's cool, you're doing what you gotta do, and you'd make a fine pirate someday, even if that would completely screw up the system of Valendia's government. Well, this friendly moment is interrupted by, guess what? Another attack by Sirens. Portkus says the crew will take care of this one. And they rush off to defend the ship. But it appears one Siren has made it through their defenses. So it's time to throw down. Now you'll notice whenever Gradriel fights a Siren, there are bubbles floating up from the bottom of the screen. There's sort of a current effect in this fight. Whichever direction the bubbles are going, you're kind of pushed in that direction. Kind of like the wind effect in that one level in Ninja Gaiden 2. Anyway, nothing too difficult about this fight otherwise. As with so many monsters, there are some nifty animations on the part of the Siren, but it really doesn't have anything too deadly to throw at you. You know, some projectile spam with those songs, but that's really about it. It can charge at you. It's got a vertical charge critical. Grabs you. And so on. Getting hit with the music does stun you a bit, and I don't think you can mash out of it, but again, it's really just delaying the inevitable. I was screwing around for a while here to see if I could get that critical to come out again and show the animation for getting hit by it, but the Siren was uncooperative. And a highly unnecessary critical hit brings things to a satisfying conclusion. Well, now that we've done our part, it looks like Portgas and crew have successfully fought off the rest of the monsters, and we have reached the shores of Volga intact. Good news. At the dock, Gradriel thanks Portgas, and he wonders what she's doing so far from Valendia anyway. So she explains the situation, and Portgas wishes her well, and says he'll take her back home whenever she's ready. In the meantime, he's paid for lodgings at the inn, so Gradriel's welcome to crash there free of charge. Well, that's nice. So now we are at the town of Sagon, in the kingdom of Volga. And if you know your JRPGs, you know that whenever there's talk of free room and board, that means we'll have to stay at the inn in order to advance the plot. But first we're going to do our usual new town ritual of ordering the special at the pub. And the catch of the day is fish. I guess that's appropriate for a port town. And at the inn, we are told that our room has indeed been taken care of, so we're going to go ahead and sack out. However, when we step outside, Arya notices that the town is under attack. Oh, and look who's responsible. It's our favorite tubular-boobular corpse, Necro Samantha. She demands Gradriel's crown. Gradriel says, LOL, no. And so Sammy sicks her chaotic eye on us. Whoop-de-shit. It's high-leveled, but it's still a chaotic eye, and we really don't have much to fear from it. As usual, they're rather annoying to do any significant damage to, but they don't have very many hit points, so, you know, it's not like we have to do a whole lot of damage in the first place. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Necro Samantha now says she'd be happy to kick our ass personally, but she seems to be outnumbered. Well, hey, who's this? Why, it's the Paladins of Volga, protectors of Gaia and foes of Larva. Samantha now admits she was acting as a diversion, and while we were beating up her pet eyeball, Leon was making his way to the castle and putting up a barrier on the road to make sure we can't follow. Well, shit. So the Paladins come over to make sure Gradriel's okay, and she is, of course, but she'd like to know if there are any alternate routes to the castle. And the Paladins tell her that it's dangerous, but they suppose she could conceivably get to the castle by going through the Sword Mine. Sword mine, eh? Did anyone say dungeon? I think somebody just said dungeon. So let's make our way there now. As usual, I cut out most of this griffin fight, but I did leave in a clip of it landing a critical combo on me, since we hadn't seen that happen before. You again. Alright, after that mango break, hopefully we'll have a straight shot onto the dungeon from here. Okay, looking good. Right, in we go. And the layout is a little funkier than we're used to seeing, but at least we know where the exit is and exactly where we should go. As with most dungeons, there's nothing too noteworthy between the beginning and the end. So while we make our way through to the obvious exit, I will have to say that y'all's a bunch of sweeties. Seriously. When I posted my last video, I have to say I was really kind of surprised at the fresh outpouring, and I can only describe it as an outpouring, of well wishes and welcome backs and what have you. I have no idea what kind of karmic bonus I racked up in a previous life to get some of the only non-awful commenters on YouTube, but I will say it is greatly appreciated. And if there's anyone out there who's primarily following me through Skunk Fuqua, well, I'm sure y'all's a bunch of sweeties too. Thanks, guys. Alright, onward and forward. Hang a left here, and that looks like different text over that door. I don't think that's the way to go. Okay, that's normal text, so let's see what's going on back here. And there's a goblin in residence. And this is not covered in any of the literature, so I have no idea what the question and response there is all about. Real uncertain as to whether anything happened there. I'm not sure if that cooked meat was in my inventory before. Maybe he gave me that? I don't know. If anyone can explain the whole goblin spiel there, I will certainly shower you in gratitude. Anyway, pretty straight shot to the exit from here. Huh? Oh, should have known it wouldn't be that easy. Well, Sammy and the twins gives Gradriel her usual round of threats. And Gradriel is typically unimpressed. So we're gonna have it out one more time. While Necro Samantha does have a handful of new tricks, This fight is overall not terribly different from the last one that we had on top of Volgrad's tower. As usual, she seems to have very poor luck when it comes to triggering the unit drop. Well, that just means good luck for me. Since there isn't anything terrifically new about this fight, I think I'm going to be wacky and just use as many projectiles and items to bring her down as I can. And quite helpful in that goal will be the fact that she gives out knives like they were candy. You wouldn't think a sliding kick would be a good idea against someone with steel-plated shins, but well, I guess when you're undead, things just don't hurt all that much. It hurts me a lot more than you'd think, though. That's right, Samantha. Just keep giving me the tools of your destruction. She doesn't handle fire very well, I've noticed. Again, I guess that comes with the whole undead thing. They do tend to be rather flammable. Oh, so we eat a critical and she promptly dies to the unit drop. That's gotta be embarrassing. And so Necro Samantha laments her failure, but notes that by fighting with demons, Gradriel has developed great hatred and dark magic within her own soul. Gradriel doesn't get it, but Samantha assures her she'll understand soon. And with that, American Sammy finally fades from the land of the living once and for all. So I guess this means Arya has a unique boss character's death under her belt. That's a pretty hardcore fairy. Well then, now that we're done with the sword mine, we should have a pretty straight shot toward the castle of Volga. So let's make our way onward. Well, it looks like we've got a little more walking to do before we get there, but no more dungeons or anything like that. Proserpina? I thought she said she was going to behave herself. Well, clearly not. Finally. Well, there's also a Volga town, so guess we can't go back and check out the town first. We'll have to head on into the castle. We're gonna have a boss fight coming up fairly soon, so just gonna take a look at the inventory there, but I don't think we should need too much preparation. We'll bring along a Gom scroll and the defense necklace just to be on the safe side, I suppose. That should be good enough. There are some side rooms along the way to the throne room, but I don't think there's anything important in them. If there's anything in there at all, it's probably just an NPC with a little bit of flavor dialogue. And I haven't been bothering with that in town, so we're not going to bother with it here either. Kind of strange, I suppose, to have the throne room on the top floor, but that's the way they organize things in Volga Kingdom. And there's our granddad Jadius, the king of Volga. He seems a fairly vital little bastard, but no match for Leon from the look of things. Says Leon, Necro Samantha must have screwed up, but she bought him enough time to steal the crown of Volga. Now he just needs Gradriel's. Gradriel calls out to Jadius, but Leon just tells her he'll make her the first sacrifice to Larva, unless of course he decides to torture her sisters first. Gradriel gets super pissed, and oh dear, suddenly gains about 5 or 6 years and about as many cup sizes. Leon observes that Gradriel wields Larva's own dark power, and he's getting the hell out of there, but promises to return for the Valendian crown. And with that, Gradriel kinda passes out. And from here, I'll let the captions take care of things for a little while. Thanks, Mom. Alright, so now we have to beat the crap out of our super-powered dark side, which happens to manifest as a head swap of our possessed big sister. Gradriel, your life is a goddamn mess. Anyway, evil Gradriel, as you would expect from her orbiting gems there, can use the various flavors of gem magic. And she can also summon that sort of serpentine wolf to go across the screen like a boomerang. Thank you for the cake. And she can also summon these snakes, which will just home in on wherever you happen to be standing. She can also club you with her gem orbiting circle thing at close range, which I believe is what she uses as a counter. She does good damage, but really, although she's certainly more of a threat than Necro Samantha, I still walk over her pretty handily. Don't have to do any healing or anything. I honestly think I might be a little over-leveled at this stage of the game. If memory serves, Evil Gradriel also has a critical in which she summons sort of an Eastern, Chinese-y-looking dragon to attack you, but she didn't seem interested in doing it during this battle, so I apologize for missing that. Anyway, none of that matters now because she is defeated. Evil Gradriel says she can't be banished from our hearts so easily. And regular Gradriel says, yeah, that's true, people have to contain dark and light within them. And she repeats that little bit of passed down verse that her mother told her. And with that, Evil Gradriel fades away, and we inherit her power. This is an actual gameplay mechanic, and I will demonstrate it the next time we get into a random battle. With that, Gradriel wakes up outside of her own brain, in Volga Castle. And there's Grandpa Jadius. Gradriel addresses him as grandfather, and he asks her not to do that because of the way he disowned her dad. And he also asks her to leave the kingdom, please, for the sake of his people, before Leon comes around and tries to steal her crown too, and just generally tears up the place. Not the most heartwarming of reunions, I suppose, but that's life. So now we're going to move on toward Volga Town. Check the place out, maybe do a little side questing. And along the way, I'm going to get myself into a fight with some goblins, so I can show off Evil Gradriel's power. So what I need to do first is wait for the power meter to charge all the way up. And then when I press both trigger buttons, Honey Flash! So whenever you press the attack button as Evil Gradriel, whatever gem is right in front of her at the time will be used to cast gem magic. So you have pretty much an unlimited supply of magic while you're transformed into her. There's no real timer on the transformation, but as you may have noticed, you lose hit points every time you attack. So I don't know that this is really all that useful an ability. For one, you get it very late in the game, and for two, it hurts you. So, I'm not real sure why it's even in the game, unless it's because George Kamitani is just that much of a tit man. Oh, Japan. Anyway, that's pretty much the only time I'm going to be using that, just to demo it. It's really not going to do me any good any later in the game. So we'll fast forward on to Volga Town. Now, talking to this guy in green here, if I had gotten all of the specialty foods up to this point, he would give me a side quest. He doesn't do that. I'm wondering what I did wrong. And right about now is when my face contorts in horror as I realize bakeries have specialties too. Well, we'll have to deal with that soon. In the meantime, I'm going to head back to the dock. And Portgus wants to know how everything went, and Gradriel says the crown got stolen. Crap. Portgus says we'd better head on home, and so that's what we're going to do. And that'll zoom us right on back to Leland. where Portgas says the castle awaits, and Gradriel says, yeah, she's going to head off to the castle. Portgas says he'd like to meet her there sometime, if that would be okay. And Gradriel says, hell yeah, I'm the ruler of the kingdom. You'll always be welcome there. Alright, so now since I don't know where the bakeries are offhand, I've got to go to all the towns in Valendia and see if I can find all the specialty, you know, breads and cakes and shit, so I can do that final side quest, because god damn it, we're gonna do a completionist LP this time. I finally did it. As it turns out, the bakeries are in Volga, Low Grove, and Nutsville. And so this duder says he left a broken sword in Sword Mine. So we're going to zoom on back to Sword Mine and find ourselves a really low-level Chaotic Eye. This thing will go down in absolutely no time. It's only level 10. We get comically poor experience from it, but we do get the broken sword. Good times. Alright, so we bring the guy back his broken sword, which is apparently the possession of a knight friend of his. And he tells us about the last pub, which is to the southwest of Volga. So we'll head on there. And it is literally the last pub, so there we can get the final specialty food. And here we are at the last pub. Hey, Proserpina's here. And she says she doesn't like us, but she doesn't have to like us because getting to eat the food here is enough of a victory for her. Alright, we're going to order the final special food in all the game universe. But I neglected to clear some space in my inventory for it. Okay, fine, we'll hork down this burger. And now we should be able to buy the final specialty food. Which turns out to be dragon steak. Very nice. So if you have a ton of money and want to really buff up your hit points, this is a good place to do it. And the witchy bartender there says she's impressed with us traveling the land and trying all the specialty foods, and she gives us a gift of the remove drop. With the addition of the remove drop, we now have all the fairy candy in the game, and the remove drop, as it turns out, removes curses. That is actually pretty damn boring for the ultimate candy. Oh well. With that done, we are now back in Valenidine Town, and there is nothing left to do but trigger the endgame. That, however, is something that I think we're going to have to save for the next video, seeing as that'll take a while and we're already at almost 35 minutes. So, next time out, we will finally draw Princess Crown to a close. Or at least that's what we would be... That's what we would be doing if there wasn't some post-game content. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Anyway, for now, this is Un, saying thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon for the exciting conclusion.